Yes.
Anyway, speaking of food, I am a huge foodie at heart. So the other day I went to the Marché, which is a restaurant in Somerset. It's quite famous. I think most of you have been there as well. So as I went to the cashier and I gave him my card to swipe, because they have this thing, it's like very a unique system. Like whichever stall you go to, like you collect points and then ultimately you just swipe it and then that's how they calculate your bill. So as I gave him my card to swipe, I saw a very familiar yet nostalgic sight. It was a tree, but not just a mere tree. It was a tree laden with bright green balloons. And that reminded me of a phenomenal experience that I had a few years back. It was November 2011, and I was on a trip to South Africa. Now this trip was very special to me because it was a gift to me from my parents for receiving all straight A stars from my O levels. So I was very excited and I was very happy. South Africa has this tagline to promote tourism, and it says, "A million adventures, one country." And I believe it couldn't hold more true. It's such an amazing and a wonderful country, and I think every one of you should visit. I had this My Balloony adventure in Plettenberg Bay, which looks like this. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
One day, our tour guide, sorry for that. One day, our tour guide, he just took me to this old abandoned airport and he asked me to wait. And I was so stupid, I didn't even ask him why. I just waited. Half an hour later, this really cute guy comes up to me and he's like, "Are you Miss Nillavi Shah?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Follow me." And I was so excited. It's not that every day a really cute Ambo guy comes and tells me to follow me at an abandoned airport. So I just happily followed him. He led me to this runway where there was a shack at the end. Now my excitement grew even more. Then he asked me, he stopped there in the middle and then he asked me, "So are you ready?" And I was like, "Ready for what?" He said nothing. He simply pointed to the sky, and the sight that I saw, it flabbergasted me. This is what I saw. I saw two men plummeting down towards the ground at like full speed, and I thought they were going to die. But then one of the men, he pulled the toggles, and then a parachute came up, and then they glided around the bay lazily. So now I was euphoric. I was so excited at the prospect of skydiving. And then I asked Jeff, which was the guy's name, I'm like, "Hey Jeff, who's going to skydive with me now?" And he gave me the answer that I was looking forward to the most. He's like, "Me!" And I was like, "Yay!" And I was on cloud 9. And a few minutes later, I was literally on cloud 9 because I was 10,000 feet in the air in an old decrepit aircraft strapped to Jeff, and we were standing at the hatchet of the plane, which was pulled down. And as I saw the side below, my stomach lurched. There was no ground below. There was nothing except water. And as Chloe is, I am hydrophobic as well. So you can imagine my flight being 10,000 feet up in the air and having nothing but water below. And skydiving is quite dangerous because 1 in 3 people sometimes fail to open their parachutes, or the parachutes fail to open and then they die. And South Africa is known to have great white sharks and whales. And I saw sharks there myself too, which is another story. So I saw that there was only water below and bile was rising up my throat, but I had to master my fear. So suddenly Jeff asked me, he's like, "Are you ready?" And because I couldn't speak because I felt like puking, I only gave him a thumbs up sign. And then we jumped. Free falling is the scariest thing I have done in my life, because you're hurtling towards the ground at like full speed. And I was, as just like Chloe, I was thinking of all the good and bad things in my life, and I was thinking of how I want to say, I don't want to die. I was like praying to God so that I'll live to see another day. But then my gorgeous Jeff, my brave, shining knight in shining armor, he pulled the thermos open, and then he opened the parachute. The parachute, it was a bright green, just like the balloons that I saw in Marshall. And after he pulled the parachute, it was just so beautiful. I was not scared anymore because we were not falling, and the sight below was beautiful. This was what I could see. Like, there was deep blue water, and there were like lush green mountains on the other side, and we were gliding around the bay lazily. In fact, a few eagles also flew past me. I think it was beautiful. I felt like an albatross. It was wonderful. But then, half an hour later, we landed on the tarmac of the runway, and Jeff congratulated me, and he gave me this certificate as proof that I skydived, and he even gave me refreshments. And I loved him more because he gave me food. I was besotted by him. But then it was time to leave, so I left with a heavy heart, thanking him for the wonderful experience that he gave me. And just as I was thinking about this, I heard a very, very, very loud noise. It was a couple of balloons bursting, and that brought me back from my reverie into the present and gave me a reality check that I was in Singapore on Orchard Road. And slowly I walked towards the bus stop to catch my bus home. Thank you.